Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. They say when Adesewa arrived at the palace that morning, nobody expected what was about to happen. The young doctor from Canada had recently been introduced to the royal family through the Ogidigba ruling house. That is the Ile Araba. She is beautiful, educated, and comes from a respected Yoruba family in diaspora. People are already whispering that she might become one of the new women positioned close to the Great Lion. The palace courtyard was busy because the jewel had just completed her second cleansing ritual. The Isuna Imole Aje, and elders from both the Gaisai and the Ogirigba, Ile Araba lineages were still present. Adesewa walked in quietly wearing a modest cream dress and, light scarf over her head. Her calmness caught everyone's attention. She wasn't behaving like someone who came to show off or compete for recognition. She was respectful and deliberate with every step. When she reached the courtyard, she stopped and waited until she was invited to move closer. The priestess Adetutu nodded slightly, signaling her forward. The jewel was still standing near the center, speaking softly with some, elderly women. Adesewa moved closer, then suddenly stopped, removed her scarf, and dropped to her knee. The courtyard went silent. Even the drummer stopped. Nobody expected that kind of gesture. She bowed her head deeply and said in a steady voice, "My queen, my mother of the throne, I greet you." Hey! Ebony saw everything. Ebony saw everything. Dela right. Hey. Ebony saw everything. It took a few seconds for the jewel to understand what had just happened. The word mother of the throne carried weight. It was a public declaration that recognized the jewel as the true spiritual and royal pillar of the palace. The woman whose presence legitimized the peace and power of the great lion himself, Delaram Sopo. Our might is not a small something. The jewel looked down at her, shocked, shocked, as in the jewel was shocked. The jewel was shocked. She said, "Stand up." She said softly, but Adesewa didn't move. "Please allow me to kneel," Adesewa said. "I came to pay respect to the woman who carried grace even when the world turned against her. I have heard your story from afar, and today I see it with my own eyes. You are the mother of the throne." They say eyes. Some of the Ogidigba elders exchanged glances. Others looked at each other and unsure how to react. Even the women of Ile Araba who had come to show support were speechless. This is not a small statement. In Yoruba royal tradition, no one casually calls another woman mother of the throne unless they are publicly acknowledging her supremacy in rank and destiny. The jewel was touched. She reached out and helped Adesewa stand. "You don't need to kneel before me," she said gently. "You are your own woman. I am proud to see our daughter rise with wisdom and grace." Adesewa smiled shyly. "It is not humiliation," she said. "It is honor. What I saw here today is not ordinary. When I left Canada, I only knew stories, but today I understand what power means when it is guided by peace." Now, the thing is that I don't know how they kind of raise and convince their daughters to. Is it that they just see the great lion and they like the great lion? Yes, I do know that the great lion is a great man. I do know that he carries this aura that, nobody can deny. I do know that he is tall, dark-skinned, and handsome. He is wealthy and all of that. But I would want to think that, these women who are coming from, here, like a medical doctor and all of that, like they would not want to go and be, but of course, maybe because he's a very liberal king, maybe because, of course, when you marry him, you're not bound by anything to stay right there with him. Maybe that is why they get enthralled and want to marry him. Because the young girl, Adesewa, they say when she came in, she was looking really happy. The Jewel was happy. From her looks, she was happy. Adetutu was happy. Dr. Sapphire was happy, and all of that. They say all the women that were there, Blow seemed happy. All of them, they were happy. Now, you see this combination. You see the Jewel, you see Adetutu, you see Dr. Sapphire, you see, they understand that, look, you see the great lion here. The great lion has the right to continue to marry and marry and marry and marry if that's what he wants. And it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change how he feels about, the Jewel and anything. But you who is coming to marry him, if your coming is to stop him from loving the Jewel, then you don't give yourself new employment because you go walk past Ebony. Yes, so they say the great lion senior aide who had been standing at a distance looked, impressed. The scene had completely shifted the atmosphere. People who had come expecting a quiet tension saw something else: humility, strength, and recognition. One of the Gaisaigo elders spoke up. It has been a long time since we saw such understanding among the royal daughters. He said, this is how the palace used to be: unity, respect, and wisdom. The Jewel smiled slightly but remained quiet. She could sense that something deeper was happening. Adesewa's words were not just about respect. They were a public message to everyone watching that she is not coming to fight for attention or position, but coming to get things realigned. Priestess Adetutu, who had been watching quietly, finally spoke. When the young ones bow to wisdom, the land prospers. Let no one mistake humility for weakness. The gods are pleased when peace speaks louder than pride. Everyone nodded slowly. Some of the women clapped softly. After the ritual gathering ended, Adesewa approached the Jewel again privately. Queen, she said quietly, I know how the palace talks. I know there will be stories about me and the great lion, but I want you to know I didn't come to take your place. I came to serve where I am needed. Wherever I am, wherever I am asked, whatever I'm asked to do, I will do with respect. They said the Jewel looked at her carefully. You are wise beyond your years. Like, even elders, they looked at her. They say, yes, this one is a very wise one. But a lot of people started murmuring, like, okay, they hope that later now she don't go content tiger or tigress, so because that was how everybody was so quiet when the Jewel was in the palace. I will do this, I will do that. Later, Ebony turned to tiger. Like, this is Ebony today fighting a battle that she's not supposed to fight. And right now, the worst has happened as she is fighting with her own people. Going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and shouldn't be seen as fact.